Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Data Playbook. It's week 16, and we have our Sunday games to go through after a couple Saturday games and Thursday night. And there's no major updates to the tool, but I do expect to get to more over the next couple weeks. So if you want to see what updates come out, go ahead and give a subscribe so you can follow along. But other than that, let's get into our game data. Moving into the afternoon games, you have Atlanta going to Arizona, where Atlanta's favored on the money line with a spread of 3 points and a total line of 48.5. And here's your averages. And going through the rankings, offensively for Atlanta, you have a scoring rank of 26, a passing rank of 17, a rushing rank of 12, and a tight end rank of 7. Defensively, it's a little worse with an allowed scoring rank of 22, allowed passing rank of 12, allowed rushing rank of 26, but a pretty good allowed tight end rank of 3. For Arizona's offense, it's mixed with an allowed scoring rank of 21, passing rank of 4, rushing rank of 26, and a tight end rank of 1. Defensively, it's pretty bad with an allowed scoring rank of 27, allowed passing rank of 21, allowed rushing rank of 23, and an allowed tight end rank of 26. For your quarterbacks, you have Kirk Cousins and Jacoby Brissett. Cousins averaging 9.7 fantasy points per game, and Brissett averaging 16.8. There's your players' seasonal averages. And this season, Kirk Cousins has 3 passing interceptions, while Brissett has 6 interceptions, and 3 fumbles lost due to sacks. For their share, you have nothing for Kirk Cousins. He doesn't even rush the ball very much. He even rarely rushes the ball at this point. For Jacoby Brissett, he has about 11.1% of the rushing carry share and about 11% of the rushing yard share. For your running backs, you have Bijan Robinson and Michael Carter, with Robinson averaging about 21 fantasy points per game and Carter almost 8. Here are their seasonal averages. And looking at their turnovers, you have Robinson with 2 rushing fumbles this season and 1 receiving fumble. And then you have Michael Carter with no turnovers. Looking at their share, you have Robinson with about 64.1% of the rushing carry share and 71.6% of the rushing yard share, with the next largest portion being Tyler Algier, the backup, with about 30% of the rushing carry share and 25% of the rushing yards. With Michael Carter, you're at 22% of the rushing carry share and about 17% of the rushing yard share, where it's fairly evenly distributed because they've had several injuries and several rotations of players in. For your receivers, you have Drake London and Marvin Harrison Jr., with London averaging about 19.7 fantasy points per game and Harrison about 12.5. Here's your player averages, and with only 1 turnover from Drake London with a receiving fumble, we'll move right into their charts, where you have Drake London with 25% of the target share and 28% of the receiving yard share, giving him the largest percentage of anybody else on the team. And with Marvin Harrison Jr., you're at 14% of the target share and 16.9% of the receiving yard share. Your number 2 receivers are Darnell Mooney and Michael Wilson, Mooney averaging about 5.6 fantasy points per game and Wilson at about 11.9. Here's our seasonal averages, and there's no turnovers given up between either of them, so we'll go right to the charts. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to look into this anymore. And here we have Darnell Mooney with about 16% of the target share and 12.6% of the receiving yard share. And then you have Michael Wilson at 21.5% of the target share and 21.7% of the receiving yard share. And that makes Michael Wilson the second most productive receiver on the Cardinals. And then for your tight ends, you have Kyle Pitts and Trey McBride, with Pitts averaging 12.6 fantasy points per game and McBride at 19.4. Here's their seasonal averages, and neither of them have turnovers, so we'll go over the charts, where you have Kyle Pitts at 25.8% of the target share and 27.5% of the receiving yard share, which puts him about the second most productive receiver on the team. And it is interesting to note that the third most productive receiver is actually Bijan Robinson. And between Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, they get about 3/4 of all the targets and receiving yards on the team. Trey McBride has somewhat of a similar story, where he gets about 28.7% of the target share and 30.4% of the receiving yard share, which is the largest on the team, making him the most productive receiver on the Cardinals. So that wraps up all the data for this game. Just a few interesting things to know is that you have the Cardinals with your number 1 tight end rank here against the allowed tight end rank of number 3, so that it should be a good matchup to watch. You can't quite say the same vice versa, though, with Atlanta having a tight end rank of 7 against the allowed tight end rank of 26 for the Cardinals. You also have a much better offense here against the defense. I think every offensive ranking here for the Falcons surpasses every defensive ranking here for the Cardinals. Even the scoring rank of 26, and this allowed scoring rate of 27 is pretty close, so the Cardinals do need to overcome that. But so far it looks pretty good with everything else. The biggest thing too is also if Arizona could use this passing rate of 4. They themselves also have a scoring rate of 21 against an allowed scoring rate of 22, being evenly matched there. So in the end, it does seem like the numbers would lean towards Atlanta, but it is pretty close, so we'll just see how it turns out. So there you are with that data. I hope you found it informational and useful, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what else you'd want to see in the future. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next game.